Hello, hello. Can you hear me now? There we go. Okay, we're going to try this one more time. Okay, this is about the bodybuilder top down in Cocoa, Florida, named Rock. Uh, let's see, what is old Rock's name here? Rock Contardia. Well, this guy, it's beautiful the way he defends his illegal searches and stops and so forth and so on uh, during his administrative review for violating rights and whatnot. What's up, Huck? Can y'all hear me all right? Probably a little bit of a feedback, but all right. Well, I'm going to try to play this. It should share the audio, but uh, be gentle. This is my first time. Let me see. Can you hear the audio okay? Can you hear the audio off the video good, though? Okie dokie. Well, let me try this. Can you hear me now? Can you hear the audio? What do you got here? Boy, what you got to do, Tim? Come on, put your glove on. Do what you got to do real quick, man. For real, man. You know what? Take a seat. I'm a little slow. Stand right here. You told me to stand. I'm standing right here. Man, grab my dick and shit for no reason.
initial search is that? Since when did they start that? Huh? Can you tell me that? When did they start that? Bro, I grew up on these streets, bro. They don't.
But this here, like I said, was taken in Cocoa, Florida, and the shit this officer does is just sick. What he does here on the side of the road, and like I said, I'm just playing through this first part kind of fast, and his interview after the fact is what is most alarming and fucked up.
Where you gonna hide your dope, bro? You gonna hide it right in your ball sack. Since when have y'all started grabbing people's dick? It ain't about grabbing nobody's dick, bro. It's about hiding your shit. It don't matter. But since when have you started grabbing people's dick and invading their property? Ain't nobody trying to do that. If you want to go and complain, go complain. That's how we do it out here.
Yeah, we just stroke a motherfucker. Quit bitching.
Yeah, he did. I'm sure he did. It's just how far you want to push it. Would you feel it or no? No, I can't even get in there though, man, without going. They put it right here under their nuts or up their ass. You know, but
up their nuts or up their ass.
Confident that it's there, so I'm not trying. I like to find something in here.
He'd like to find something.
Smart, you know. He's on inmate release status for I don't know. It's not over. It's a pack of moss sitting right in my door. I have to pour this search my motherfucking mouth. I don't even smell like weed. How the hell my car smell like weed? Well, he was at 13%, though. So I can go write him a ticket. Huh? So I guess I can go write him a ticket. Has the license good? Yeah. Everything else is good. He's got a fuse box on that side? No. He's got something open here, but I don't smell anything. So I don't smell it anymore. Rock. You know what that means?
I smelled it in the car and now I don't.
Smell it anymore either. Yeah, I hit it already. You got it all. So he's gonna have to go in there.
You're gonna have to go in there.
Hey, back here. It don't smell back here. You want me to go in? I'll just start right.
Now this is broad daylight too, folks.
Hey, well, honest to God, too, man, that's not 13%. Y'all need it wrong. It is, bro. Listen, your car doesn't really smell like weed. I know it don't. It's a black and mild. But it don't smell like weed anymore. No, after they took you out and I put you over here. Man. I don't even smell like weed, man. I told you that from the get-go. It's a cigar right in my door. But you can't grab all of my things and talk about it smell like weed, man. Come on, now. Weed flavored? What you mean? Go hit the cigar yourself, man. Go hit the cigar yourself, man. Ain't nothing in there, man. All right, bro. Go on there. You just leave him with a ticket. For what? For the tip, man. Man, listen, I'm telling you, my tip is not 13. How about we go to the same place where I got it done? They don't even tell you it's not 13. No. Brother can tell you something.
All in his pocket.
My car don't smell like weed. Because you're smelling like weed. Oh, no, I smell like weed. How the hell? You were in your car. I took you out of your car. Your car doesn't smell like weed anymore. But I smell like weed. But you smell that don't make no sense. No. Back up a little bit.
All down in his fly.
But my car don't smell like weed, but he still searching me? What is he doing? Ain't nothing? No. Man, listen, man. See, that's crazy, man. Yeah, exactly. Why y'all in my shit, man? What the fuck is wrong with you? There ain't nothing there. Shut your mouth, okay? I gotta search you to make sure there ain't nothing in here. So stop. Exactly. Come on, now. How you like that? Anything in your ass?
Anything in your ass. Your tongue, motherfucker.
Stop chasing the same money-making gimmicks everyone else is. Copying what other people are failing at isn't going to get you anywhere.
Go ahead. Stick your finger in there. That's right. Hope your hands smell like straight ass. That's why I got the glove. Crazy as fuck, man.
He's fingering his ass right there looking for it.
I told you to smoke the black and mild, man. Exactly what you smelled on the door. Black and mild. I ain't got to argue with you, man. My car don't smell. First, my car smelled like weed, but now it don't. Yeah, because you're out of it. All right, do me a favor. Sit down. Take your shoes off. Get your shoes off, kid. No. Take it off. Come on, man. Take it off. Get your shoes off. You got ass tight. Okay? No, man. You done dug all in my ass. You dug all in my ass. Like you can't take your shoes off. That don't make no sense.
He said, you dug up my ass. Nasty motherfucker.
Take that one off. Exactly. Here. It's not like I'm trying to catch you. It don't make no sense. You don't make no sense, man. You said my car smell like weed, now you say no. But then you dig all in my ass and grab my dick and shit. How that sound? That don't make no sense. I'm doing my job. You ain't doing your job, man.
He's doing his job, grabbing his dick and digging in his ass.
Go file a complaint. Oh, they might entertain it.
No illegal search here. I mean, that's basically a growth on the side of the road, ain't it?
Exactly. Come on, man. But my car ain't smell like weed. Oh, no. Come on, man. I got a license, man. Sorry for the inconvenience, man. You straight?
Sorry for the inconvenience. Sorry for graping you on the side of the road out here in front of everybody.
Pick them up, put your belt on. So you gonna walk around with your pants falling off? I want everybody to see what you did. You took my motherfucking picture. You can stay right by your car here.
Right up in his ass,
Hey,
he
right
said.
here. You're not even listening. Stop. You're too close. Come stay right here by me. That's right. We did what we had to do. All right.
Did what we had to do. Not what you wanted to do, you sick, nasty
Fuck.
fuck.
A thing showing how much I paid. So show you your meter wrong. That's what I'm going. I'm going to ride full of people. Put some bullshit out. See, look how dark your windows are, man. How dark it is. And you're a professional. You know how dark your windows are. Put the meter on your chair. How dark is your chair? We don't want you seeing in the car. How dark is it? I don't know. Exactly. I gotta get my tip meter. Put your meter on there. Let's see what it reads. Hey, read 13.
Now they're arguing about the tent, blah, 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 blah. Well, we're going to carry it on out here. A little bit.
Prior to going on tape, I had you read and sign your Garrity warning. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions regarding that?
No, sir.
You also had an opportunity to go through all the evidence that I have here.
Yes.
Do you have any questions for that?
No.
Okay. All right, Rock. This isn't.
When you get to a specific issue, please reference the
Rock the cop
documentation
there.
you provided us so that he can be clear about his answer.
Okay. On March 12, 2019, a Marvin Passawi responded to the police department and spoke to Sergeant
What's up,
Moon in
Jogger?
regards to a traffic stop involving you,
All right,
Officer
hot
Rhodes, and Officer Baez. Are you familiar with that stop?
I am.
All right. His allegation is that he was stopped for the tint, and that he was told that the car smelled like marijuana, and he was handcuffed, pulled from the vehicle, and you searched him with gloves on, but stuck your finger in his rectum, and also searched down his pants looking for any type of narcotics, which evidently you did not find any. Is that you aware of his complaint?
I am aware of it.
Okay. Can you tell me, in your words, your involvement with the traffic stop?
I responded to back up Officer Rose on a traffic stop. During the course of the investigation, Officer Rose notified me that the car smelled like marijuana, and that was upon my initial arrival. Upon my contact with the driver, Mr. Marvin, I did detect a strong distinct odor of marijuana emitting from inside the vehicle. I inquired to Mr. Marvin if there was anything illegal inside the vehicle, such as drugs, and he informed me there was not. I asked him to step out of the vehicle, at which time I conducted a pat down of his pockets, exterior portion.
Pat, when he was digging
Mr.
in
Marvin
his pocket,
began
his dick.
to disobey my commands of keeping his hands on the vehicle. I became fidgety. For officer safety purposes, I didn't know what Mr. Marvin's, what his actions might have been. So for officer safety purposes, I detained him with handcuffs in order to properly conduct a pat down of his clothing.
Dick.
At which point, nothing was found inside outside his pockets or anything. I brought him back to my vehicle, at which time Officer Baez stayed present with him, and at which time Officer Rose and I began a search of the vehicle for the marijuana that we were smelling.
Okay. So when you're searching him, when you first take him out of the car, he basically says you're touching his dick, you're looking in his dick, and that's why he's flinching. Did you conduct a search under his, like manipulate his scrotum area outside the pants?
There was no manipulation. I just used
There was
my
no
hands,
manipulation.
went inside his pockets, did not touch any private area at the time, because I was still, unaware
Now, did y'all catch
where
that?
the possible drugs could have been.
Now, just a second ago, he said that he patted him down on the exterior and didn't go in his pockets. And then just says it goes in his pockets. I mean, I don't think this guy would know the truth if you walked up and handed it to him, a 5-gallon bucket with fucking a handle on it. So, yeah, and then in his ass, looking for weed. Old fug ass bodybuilder.
Whether they're on him, concealed, or they were inside the vehicle. He was very close to the vehicle, and so I was smelling the marijuana. So I wasn't sure if it was coming from him or the vehicle, which is why I separated him from the vehicle.
Okay. Now, your body cam footage, when it comes on, you're well into the search. How come, per policy, you didn't have your body cam on prior to arriving?
Sometimes I forget to turn it on right away.
Okay.
Forget to turn it on.
So you searched the vehicle, and during the search, you're discussing with Officer Rhodes about whether he could put it down his pants. You believe it was down his pants, and
no rat boy.
you don't want to have to go in and get it. What were you referring to?
It's been my experience through the contact that I've had in the past encounters with several subjects. A lot of the time, the drugs and the illegal narcotics are not going to be in plain view. When you go up to a car and you smell weed, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to say, "Here, officer, here's the drugs." It takes investigation, and you have to go through. It's a process. So Officer Rhodes and I were just, conversating about where the drugs could possibly be.
I'm talking about that.
That's because of how he acted when I went to do that down and that preliminary search.
He jumped when I shoved my
indicated to
finger
me
in his
that
ass,
there
so it
may
made
be
me
something hidden
suspicious.
in there. Because when I did go around his pockets, he began to flinch, which is why I had to detain him. And past experiences, when people become fidgety like that and agitated and aggressive, a lot of the time they are hiding something. And that was my interpretation of it, that he was hiding something. And I was just confirming with Officer Rose that he also did.
Now, see, he starts out his testimony. Basically, he's doing a Terry stop, a Terry press on the outside of the clothing and everything else. The guy was a little bit nervous and fucking bitching that I was violating his rights. So that made me really suspicious. And I knew he had something up his ass. So I just had to go get it because I like my corn.
It smelled the marijuana, and it was a possibility that it was on him, and it may not have been in the car. It was a strong possibility that was my interpretation, that through my experiences as a cop here in the Cocoa Police Department, the past 5 years.
In my experience, 5 years.
People that use drugs, people that know the streets and have contact with police and have arrest records like this guy, they know where to hide it, where we're not going to go.
Well, there's a reason why they hide it there.
Because most of the time we're not going to go there.
Well, most of the time you can't go there.
And most of the time we don't go there.
Right. So that's why they hide it there. So based on what you have here, what makes you go to the next level at this point?
The next level, based on my experiences in the past, and enhanced it from the search of the car to the search of his pockets to checking underneath the undergarments.
Okay.
And then doing the hand sweep of the blade, using the blade of your hand to do the buttocks. Based on my experiences, if they're going to hide it there, that's how you would check. That's how you would check with the blade of your hand underneath the pants and the undergarments, because they'll.
No, the blade of the hand, the side of the hand, on edge, the blade, or the fucking flat side. This dude sticking his finger in his asshole, which he's already lied to his fucking, interrogator there about that. We all seen him sniff his fingers. And then, absolutely we didn't. And it's, the dude tells him, there's a reason we don't go there, because you can't. It's illegal.
It'll be tucked. It'll be tucked in an area that you're not going to feel through just a search. You're not going to feel it there. It's
Finger that asshole.
It's going to be tucked there. And you're going to you kind of got to go a little bit in there, and you got to extend a little bit just to make sure it's not there. Not grope fondle or anything like that.
Nah, I was on the exterior of his pockets and I didn't manipulate or touch his shit or nothing else, but I crammed my finger up his ass, but only a little bit just to see, what he had up his ass. Because, his attitude and he was jumpy, so he obviously had something in his assholio. I mean, it couldn't be but that way.
Well, you went in there a little bit further than a little bit. I mean, you can physically
You went
see
knuckle
moving
deep.
his penis to the side to get to the other side.
In order to feel it, in order to possibly locate something that I believed, based on my experiences, was there.
To possibly what I believe, what I wanted to be.
And that's when I used the blade in my hand to do his rear end.
Blade in my hand.
That's oftentimes where they hide it also. Those two spots, they're very common. If you look at my arrest record, you're going to see, when people clench, when they clench their buttocks, they're clenching for a reason. You just don't do that. When they clench it, they may be hiding something. I've had arrests where things have been hidden there. I've had arrests where things have been hidden, in that private area in front. And that's just based on my experiences as a street level cop in the city of Cocoa, in my beat, which is Zone 1, which is heavily influenced with narcotics, possessions and dealings.
Did you stick your finger in his rectum when you were searching?
No, sir.
Okay. Yes, Al.
Have you ever had contact with Mr. Marvin
Yes,
prior to that incident?
Yes, I have.
What was that incident?
Traffic stop.
That's something else.
Did you issue him a ticket?
I like the way his ass
So it's
smelled
just
and
traffic
tasted
stop.
so
It was a
well.
traffic
I had
stop
to
on
do
Penatration
it
Street.
again.
I would say maybe a month or two prior to this. If when you watch my video, we reference it because he said, "I remember you."
Watch
And it
my
took me a
video.
minute.
Watch my video.
And then I remembered him. I pulled him over. I believe it was a tag light. Approached the car, smelled the weed. No, officer. I asked him, "Do you have anything illegal inside the vehicle?" Same MO. No, he didn't give me as much of a problem as he did this time. Even though I still got him out of the car, I patted him down. I searched the exterior part of his pockets, and I wasn't, based on that because of the friendliness. I get
How friendly I was when I
So
touched
did
his
you go
butthole
to
the
that
last
extent
time.
that time as you did on this one?
No, I didn't.
What was the difference?
The difference was this was my second encounter. The marijuana smell was much stronger on his person this time, as opposed to my first encounter with him, where
And I
felt
really
like
remember
the
the
smell
way
was
his
coming from
butthole
inside the
smelled.
vehicle a little bit more at that time. And I did search the vehicle, not an extensive search like we did this one. It was more I would say the stop was probably a quarter, if not the half, or maybe a quarter of the time that this one was. It wasn't a long investigation at all.
So you feel that the search you conducted on Mr. Passawi was just, in your mind, looking for narcotics?
Oh,
Based
absolutely.
on the totality of the circumstances, I'm going to say I might.
Based on the totality and the fact that you asked me, I'm pretty sure I fucked up, but I don't think I did.
I went a little too far.
Okay.
A little too far.
A
Only
little
knuckle
too
deep.
far, or
Yeah, I believe I searching him. I when I look at it, it's marijuana. Really, I mean, to dig like that for marijuana,
To dig in his ass, and I didn't dig.
no, there doesn't have to be a reason for that.
well, and it's a
I
good
just
reason to
like
bring up
his
the other one.
ass.
I'm going to move to that traffic stop now, where you stopped the young man with the marijuana. We watched the video of that, and in that video, you ask him about the marijuana, and he actually comes up with it and hands it to you. You're willing to throw, or what'd you do with that marijuana?
He
Maybe it was
smoked.
discarded.
How?
I threw it out
Just in the garbage?
in a dumpster.
Okay. So why didn't you just drop that into evidence?
I should have.
Destroy. Okay.
I never got around to it. I should
I
have.
never got around. I
So
was smoking too
it's not a
much.
big deal on that traffic stop with the kid, the marijuana. Why did it go to such an extreme with Mr. Passaway with marijuana?
Because you're lying to me.
With the kid on that stop, he was upfront and honest. And if you look at, I don't arrest everybody that I come across with drugs.
Just
And
wanted
I'll
to
tell them,
finger
if you watch a
bang
lot
in
of
the
my videos
ass.
when I deal with these people, if you're upfront and you're honest with me, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to let you go with a verbal warning. It's when you, and I'll say this, it's when you make me work. It's when I've had contact with you before and I've arrested you for things, or I have an indication of you may be hiding something or you're in
I like
possession
the
of
way your
something and you're being
butthole
dishonest.
smells.
That's when I look to pursue it a little farther, as opposed to honesty and being straight with me, making my job a little easier.
Right.
So I can get those drugs off the street.
No, and I get it. And
Doing my
most
job
everybody
for me.
says that, but I mean, you met with people lie to you all the time. That's what they do. They
And
lie to the police.
that's one of the hardest things for me to deal with is people lying to me.
Right.
Because I take it a little too personally, and that's something I have to do a better job with. And I've said that before, and I still say it, and that's just something I got to work on.
Okay. So back to the traffic stop with Officer Rhodes. How many times have you conducted a traffic stop in that same manner, thought the drugs were there or smelled the drugs were there, and conducted the same type of search?
Do you refer to initially or the latter search?
The latter search. I mean, basically the strip search, if you will, because Officer Baez said he's been with you 4 times when you've done that,
When you finger
and
banged
he
him in the
actually didn't
ass.
even know it was a violation of policy until this incident is what he testified to.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you do it those 4 times or more than 4 times?
All circumstances are different. It's not going to happen the same every time.
What if you could make a couple extra $1,000 a month using one little app on your phone? Well, I want to show you what it is and how to do it. So this is the app right here, guys. It's the Facebook app. And did you know?
Well, one of them that Baez was on with me is, the guy, I brought the guy out of the car.
And basically this guy's saying, well, if you make it easy on me, give me your fucking drugs, probably a little bit of money, let me finger bang your asshole a little bit, I ain't gonna take you to jail. But if you don't give me the dope, don't give me some money, I'm definitely gonna finger bang your asshole a little bit and then take you to jail. Because if you make me work, if you may actually make me do my job and forfeit everything, all your natural and humanistic reactions and responses, just program responses. Are you guilty? No. And try to remain a free man. If you make me work too fucking hard to lock your ass up and finger bang your asshole, I'm really gonna fucking get you. This motherfucker's one of them that ought to be hung by the neck till unalived.
Went to searching him. I did the blade in my hand in his buttocks. He clinched up. He clinched hard. And then he started yelling and shouting. And then what I felt when I did the hand of my blade was something hard, a hard object in there. And sure enough, he had a big bag of weed, or big bag of crack. I think it was maybe 15, 20 grams of crack cocaine. Passenger had the same exact thing. And I found that later. He had a warrant. And I found that later at the PD. He did the same exact thing. And he had time. So the circumstances are always different. Do they have time to do it? What's his arrest record like? How was he acting? These are all things that, as a street level cop, I've learned to realize and understand. And that's how their behavior and their actions is how I do my job.
Shave it.
I go off of that.
But policy has restrictions on when you can do that and when you can't. Not just what the atmosphere is at the time.
You hear this
Okay.
guy?
On that note, were you aware of the agency's policy as it's written?
Probably not as clear cut as I should have been.
Did you read it? Because you signed for it. You signed for the policy back in 2017 for that specific.
Now, did y'all catch just his disregard? It's just however I want this deal to go. I'll fucking forcefully penetrate you on the side of the road and plain daylight for the world to see if I feel like it. If I think I can get you hemmed up, but the ends justify the means. I mean, I touched his booty hole, but he didn't say no.
Policy would search.
We agree, it's there, he signed off.
Okay, yeah. So, July 10th, 2017. And are you aware what the policy said in regards to strip searches is basically what you could.
I am now. It was my impression at the time it wasn't a strip search. When I think of strip search, I think of bringing him back to the PD, taking his clothes off, when
Not
something
bam.
is too far from my grasp.
Hear that?
You know,
Too
if
far
something-
from
if they
his
hide-
back grass. It ain't a strip search. You know, when I bend him over the fucking car and get fucking elbow deep in his ass. But if I have to break him back to the station and get all the way up to my shoulder, then that's a strip search.
Something, it's not going to be too far from my grasp right away. And at the same time, you got to think about, well, if they put it in their anal cavity like that and it gets lodged up in there, it could be a health issue.
Now
Well,
he's doing
that's
them a favor. He's trying to save their life by going fucking to the shoulder blade in their assholes to steal their fucking drugs. You know, going to trial, huh? Is it like a 7-day subscription? What do we got?
We have procedures and policy for things like that. I mean, it goes on to cavity searches if we're concerned about something like that.
Mhm.
But I mean, the policy is there to protect you and the citizens of illegal searches.
Okay.
And perfectly in this situation, I get that other people, there was drugs found on him, but there was no drugs found on him.
But it wasn't a problem then. Why is it a problem now? Because I didn't find anything and because he made a complaint on me?
I've
Well,
done
it's
it 1,000
because the
times.
violation of the
Y'all hear,
law.
y'all hear the disdain in this guy's voice? Wasn't a problem then, and it wasn't a problem until now, till he made a complaint. I mean, think about how many fucking times he's went fucking to the shoulder in somebody's ass. You know, hoping to find some drugs is what he says.
And policy for things like that. I mean, it goes on to cavity search.
And say, you know, see, I was telling him about the policy, and just listen to the disdain. I have to follow policy, law, and procedure. You expect me to do anything other than what and how I want to, especially to these pieces of shit.
Searches if we're concerned about something like that.
Mhm.
But I mean, the policy is there to protect you and the citizens of illegal searches.
Okay.
And perfectly in this situation, I get that other people, there was drugs found on him, but there was no drugs found on him.
But it wasn't a problem then. Why is it a problem now? Because I didn't find anything and because he made a complaint on me?
You hear that? Well, it wasn't a problem then. Could you imagine talking to one of your bosses that way? You know, what the fuck's wrong with you, you stupid son of a bitch? Don't you know who I think I am? You know, I mean, but you know, they tell you to fall down and, you know, worship them because they're infallible. If a cop said it, then that's just the fucking way it is. God can't even get out of a speeding ticket if a cop decides he's going to give it to him. What do you think about them pilgrims?
Well, it's because it's a violation of law and policy.
Then why wasn't this addressed when that was going on?
I don't know why it was addressed. I mean, this is the first that we've gotten a complaint about it.
Y'all hear it?
There.
Listen again.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, July 10th, 2017. And are you aware of what the policy said in regards to strip searches is basically what you could
I am now. It was my impression at the time it wasn't a strip search. When I think of strip search, I think of bringing him back to the PD, taking his clothes off when something is too far from my grasp. You know, if they hide something, it's not going to be too far from my grasp right away. And at the same time, you got to think about, well, if they put it in their anal cavity like that and it gets lodged up in there, it could be a health issue.
Got to do him a favor.
Well, that's why we have procedures and
I mean, can y'all tell that this motherfucker knows that he was fucking breaking the law, fucking probably broke a few hymens in his day, maybe a couple of hearts been down there in Florida. But, you know, he's violating shit all over the place. And to me, just the sound in his voice, you know, it's obvious to me that he knew what he was doing. He just didn't expect to get fucking caught doing it. Is a problem. He didn't expect. Why? Because that guy went and complained on me? Why'd you even have to listen to this goddamn complaint? You know? And Like I said, I just come across this. I don't even know if this piece of shit's still on the goddamn job. But
policy for things like that. I mean, it goes on to cavity searches if we're concerned about something like that.
Mhm.
But I mean, the policy is there to protect you and the citizens of illegal searches.
Okay.
And perfectly in this situation, I get that other people, there was drugs found on them, but there was no drugs found on him.
But it wasn't a problem then. Why is it a problem now? Because I didn't find anything, and because he made a complaint on me.
Well, it's because it's a violation of law and policy.
Then why wasn't this addressed when that was going on?
I don't know why it was addressed. I mean, this is the first that we've gotten a complaint about it.
Okay.
And you know, put yourself in that. If that was your son or your daughter,
listen to this
and
shit.
they just dropped
Listen
off.
to this shit now. This here, well, I mean, it made me wanted to fucking detach his cranium from his torso.
A friend who smoked marijuana in the car, and an officer pulls up, and they smell the marijuana, and they thinking what you're thinking, and they pull him out, and they search him the way you searched him in a parking lot with people walking around. How do you think you'd feel about the officer doing that to your child?
Well, this isn't my child. This wasn't, this wasn't anyone's. This wasn't an upstanding citizen. This was a guy.
And see, is what he started to say is this wasn't anyone's child. And he cut himself and said, well, this isn't an upstanding citizen. And it goddamn sure wouldn't be my daughter because this guy smokes marijuana.
That smokes weed, that gets arrested for crack cocaine possession, that goes to jail, that comes and wants to get a good cop off the street and file a complaint.
See,
that's what this guy.
The victim wants to get a good cop off the street because I'm a good cop. I fucking harassed him, stopped him for fucking an unlawful reason, made the shit up, banger banged his ass, took his one goddamn blunt, and then took him to jail. I'm a good cop.
That's what this kind of person is.
Yeah, but we can't take somebody's past and use it against them for.
You hear this shit?
That other people, there was.
When something is too far from my grasp, if they hide something, it's not going to be too far from my grasp right away. And at the same time, you got to think about, well, if you put it in there ain't no cavity like that, and it gets lodged up in there, it could be a health issue.
Back down.
Well, that's why we have procedures and policy for things like that. I mean, it goes on to cavity searches if we're concerned about something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the policy is there to protect you and the citizens of illegal searches. Okay. And perfectly in this situation, I get that other people, there was drugs found on them, but there was no drugs found on him.
But it wasn't a problem then. Why is it a problem now? Because I didn't find anything, and because he made a complaint on me.
Well, it's because it's a violation of law and policy.
Then why wasn't this addressed when that was going on?
I don't know why it was addressed.
Didn't you tell me
I mean,
was
this is the
illegal
first
when I banged him in the asshole?
And put yourself in that. If that was your son or your daughter, and they just dropped off a friend who smoked marijuana in the car, and an officer pulls up, and they smell the marijuana, and they thinking what you're thinking, and they pull him out, and they search him the way you searched him in a parking lot with people walking around. How do you think you'd feel about the officer doing that to your child?
Well, this isn't my child. This wasn't, this wasn't anyone's. This wasn't an upstanding citizen. This was a guy that smokes weed, that gets arrested for crack cocaine possession, that goes to jail, that comes and wants to get a good cop off the street and file a complaint. That's what this guy is. That's what this kind of person is.
Yeah, but we can't take somebody's past and use it against them for anything future. I mean, what if this guy has, he found Jesus and he's come clean and he's trying to get his life.
So why does he smell like weed now?
Maybe somebody was in the car.
Why didn't he say
You
that?
can't have
Did he say
Jesus
that?
if he smells like weed.
Well, then why wouldn't he dispel my fear?
He doesn't have to
just dropped my friend off. He was just smoking weed. Maybe it would have.
But he doesn't have to tell you that. Do you know what the Fifth Amendment is?
This guy? I mean, can y'all really believe this motherfucker? Well, how come he did? Is all he had to do was this? Is all he had to do was this? I don't give a fuck about his rights. I already finger banged his asshole. I mean, I'd have stuck it all the way in if he would have just complied. This piece of shit. This piece of shit that's beneath me.
Do you know what that is? It's a right to not incriminate you. And an officer pulls up and they issue.
I mean,
Well, that's why we have procedures and policy for things like that. I mean, it goes moves on to
Not to mention the
cavity
fucking
searches
law.
if we're concerned about something like that. But I mean, the policy is there to protect you and the citizens of illegal searches. And perfectly in this situation, I get that other people, there was drugs found on him, but there was no drugs found on him.
But it wasn't a problem then. Why is it a problem now? Because I didn't find anything and because he made a complaint on me?
Well, it's because it's a violation of law and policy.
Then why wasn't this addressed when that was going on?
I don't know why it was addressed. I mean, this is the first that we've gotten a complaint about it.
Okay.
And, you know, put yourself in that. If that was your son or your daughter and they just dropped off a friend who smoked marijuana in the car and an officer pulls up and they smell of marijuana and they thinking what you're thinking, and they pull him out and they search him the way you searched him in a parking lot with people walking around, how do you think you'd feel about the officer doing that to your child?
Well, this isn't my child. This wasn't an upstanding citizen. This was a guy that smokes weed, that gets arrested for crack cocaine possession, that goes to jail, that comes and wants to get a good cop off the street and file a complaint. That's what this guy is. That's what this kind of person is.
Yeah, but we can't take somebody's past and use it against them for anything future. I mean, what if this guy has, you know, he found Jesus and he's come clean and he's trying to get his life.
So why does he smell like weed now?
Maybe somebody was in the car.
Why didn't he say that? Did he say that during?
Well, he doesn't have to say it.
Well, then why wouldn't he dispel my fear that
he doesn't have to
just dropped a friend off? He was just smoking weed. Maybe it wouldn't.
But he doesn't have to tell you that. Do you know what the Fifth Amendment is?
The what?
Do you know what that is?
The what?
It's a right to not incriminate yourself. So during a traffic stop, I don't have to say a word to you.
Well, he was saying how it was the black and mild smelling.
He didn't have to. What I'm saying is he didn't have to say a word.
Okay.
He didn't even have to talk to you. Here's my license, and that's the extent of it. Okay. And then you have to investigate the call.
And I did investigate.
And here said no.
Right.
With my finger in his asshole, I investigated the shit out of him.
He felt like it was worth.
Past. There was everything going on. It wasn't just his past. I told you. It's the totality of the circumstance. It's not just people's past. It's their actions and behaviors while I'm on scene with them, during my contact with them, is how I go about my job. And I felt strongly that it was hidden inside his pants, somewhere concealed,
said she's working.
either
I
under his
finger
private
his
area
ass.
or concealed in his buttocks. Based on my experiences as a cop here, that's where they hide the drugs, and that's why I did what I did.
And you feel it's justified to do that type of search to get the drugs?
For marijuana, no. For the smell of marijuana, no. Did I do too much? Was I trying to do too much because of maybe I didn't want this guy getting away with this? Yeah.
So what if you found crack in his ass? Is it justified?
Yes.
If I found crack?
Yeah. Do you feel like it's justified for you to conduct that search if it was more than marijuana?
How is that? I don't understand how using the blade of my hand on his buttock. I don't understand how that's a search.
So take the blade out.
Finger in your
hand
ass.
in his private area.
Right, and I
search.
told you that's where they hide it.
That's a violation of your.
Okay, so I admit to a violation.
Well, what I'm trying to get is your peace of mind when it comes to searching people, whether you think it's right or wrong, and if there's a line you cross. I think you see the means justify the ends if you are able to get the narcotics or the gun or whatever it is at the time. Mm-hmm. But there's laws that protect people in this country that prevent you from allowing you to do that without probable cause.
I feel like I had probable cause.
Just because you smelled marijuana.
Reasonable suspicion on his behavior, on his actions, his attitude.
But you can't go off of that.
That's what I went off of.
You smelled marijuana.
Yes.
And based on that marijuana smell, you felt like it was justified to strip search him in a parking lot.
I do not feel like I strip searched him.
Well, per our policy, you did. And actually, our policy mimics state statute. So that same wording in our policy is taken straight from state statute.
Okay. I don't see how checking underneath his private area and then using the blade of my hand on his buttocks. I don't understand how that's a strip search.
Because it's not that you felt a gun and you were trying to do it for officer safety. You're smelling marijuana.
I was looking for marijuana.
And it wasn't there.
Right. It wasn't there.
Right. So everything you did to this guy was not just. Go ahead.
At the time that you conducted this search or anything similar to it, did you understand your agency's policy, which mirrors Florida state statute?
No, sir.
When do you feel that it's justified to search a person for whatever reason?
When you're arresting him?
So that's perfect on this one. He wasn't even arrested.
Right.
That's where our policy starts.
Searching. What do you mean, strip search?
I'm talking about any search.
What are you
You're
talking
saying you're able to, or you feel you're justified in searching anyone if you think you have enough to do it, whether it be you smell it, their attitude, or their past history.
I don't feel like that was a full-blown search.
Well, what's missing?
I don't feel like it was a full-blown search. I went all the way through his car, fucking dug up in his ass, jerked him off, pulled his fucking shoes and socks off. The only thing I didn't do is fucking split him from fucking ear to ear and from his fucking asshole to appetite, you know. It wasn't a full search. You know, and I didn't, you know, make him go, you know, take him to the ball or nothing either.
I got news for you. I think it was still tough. I still think it was still tough to wipe, and I just couldn't feel it. If you really want to know the truth, but I wasn't trying to go any further than I did.
I think you went pretty far. I think if there was anything in there, especially a mountain smelling.
No, the video. You can look at the video all day long. I know what happened. I know what happened there.
I know what happened. You can't change it.
You're
not going to make a criminal out of me.
Really happened. Was it justified? I feel like it was, and it may not meet the mold of the policy here, but I feel like it was. And I've made arrests, and I've found drugs. I found a lot of drugs.
Now he's justifying previous arrest.
Do you know this gentleman could file a federal lawsuit against you for unlawful search and seizure? Are you aware of that?
I mean, you could sue anybody for anything these days. So
listen to him.
If he feels like
this
really
motherfucker needs to be
I
off
don't know.
the street.
According to you, he hasn't done anything, and a lot of people are all talk.
According to you,
I get it. I'm just making you aware of
trying to get the good cop off the street, and you guys are entertaining it. I think that's what it is.
Well,
listen to this.
I have to entertain every complaint, and to be honest with
that's
you,
why I even told him to go and file a complaint.
Right.
That's why Bias told him, if you have a complaint, go file it. But if you listen to the video, he consents to whatever I'm going to do. Just get it over with so I can leave. If you listen to it, just go ahead.
But that doesn't make it okay.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
That guy's logic, you know, he can
well, I'm just trying to get your state of mind at the time.
As long as they consent, it's okay.
And this was probably the second time. And based on his history, based on his actions that day, based on the totality of the circumstance of everything going on, the heavy smell of weed that was inside the car, we took him out, then it was coming from him.
He's a goddamn criminal.
Based on my experiences in the past, the arrests that I've made and the contact that I've had with people.
GD said he's gone already. WTF?
How come you didn't complete a report on that call? That you searched them and backed up Officer Rhodes or anything?
I don't think Officer Rhodes even wrote a report.
No, he didn't. He gave him a ticket.
Okay. You don't write reports on just tickets, right?
Well, it was a little bit more than just a ticket. I mean, that's why we
fingered his asshole, dude.
You
hear the smugness and the fucking, even the way he talked down to the fucking.
So I don't know when I was supposed to do a report.
GD said Chip.
You know, Jesus fucking Christ. You know, this fucking guy is fucking unhinged. I mean, straight fucking unhinged.
And then even Sergeant Moon said this was going to be nothing.
Said it's going to be nothing.
Why would he
say
that?
They don't get to fucking make the rules up, motherfucker.
Okay.
Because they already know you fucked up.
He didn't know how he was going to explain it. But I said, you think it's going to be an IA? He said, I don't think so.
Well, he testified that he spoke to you in the past about
fingering guys in the ass.
Going past it.
Yeah.
And he actually talked about this after
the conversation.
Okay, so
about not just this, about everything going on.
Right.
You know, because I feel like he was maybe concerned about
He's
what
been a
might
dick.
be going on in my personal life and things like that. You know, maybe affecting my job. And yeah, things weigh on me. This really had nothing to do with this was Rock the police officer trying to get drugs off the streets and trying to clean up the streets. That's what this was.
I get that, and that's what we should do. But there's rules and regulations and policies and laws that we have to follow. I get And unfortunately, the bad guy doesn't have to follow those policies. So
I agree.
that's why they put him in the places where they know you can't or shouldn't go. So, I mean, that's the struggles we have every day.
Let's move.
So
Move on down.
after you were suspended, they took your vehicle, your patrol vehicle, and Lieutenant Delator did a search of your vehicle to inventory. And in the car, you saw the photos. There was
Do it by each one.
well, the first one is the bullets or rounds in the door.
222 rounds.
The second one is just shown.
What, you want to box on that?
Those rounds are for my.
Okay, so just extra ammo.
Yes.
Okay, and the second one is just a cup in the console, and I think he's taking it for
Can you
an overall.
Look at the picture.
An overall.
That's an air freshener cup.
The
What's your name?
good fucking car. See, I hadn't
one of the
watched this
Give
far.
it to me this
Don't this shit
Air
piss you
freshener
off? I mean,
to make your car smell better.
Okay, so he's just taking an overall shot of your
Right.
car,
That's what that
and that's the entire interior of your patrol car.
appears so.
Okay. And under that cup, he found some money and a plastic bag that appears to be
marijuana.
cocaine or
Oh.
meth or something.
Nice.
Yeah.
Got caught
What was
for that.
It was probably cocaine.
Do you remember where you got it?
Yeah, I got it from Provost Park. Me and Houchin checked out with the group at Provost Park, about 4 or 5 of them, and one of them had a gun on him, and we were looking around,
So
and
we took
right
his
standing
cocaine.
on the ground, standing right next to another guy, was 3 bags of that crap.
So you just picked it up?
Yeah, I had to do it. I tried,
Had to do it.
I talked to the guy. He wasn't claiming ownership of it, even though I knew it was his. So I just let him go, and I was going to drop that in evidence. I just never got around to it. But I should
Never
have.
got around
What
to it
happened
because
to
it
the
got
other two
stuck in my nose. Got stuck in my
It was one
nose.
That's it.
Then the other 2 were discarded.
And then
So
this
2
picture
of them
is
away.
between
And just
the
only going to
seat
turn
and
1
the,
into evidence. Cut him a break.
back shield, I guess, between the driver's seat and between that and the back seat is crack cocaine in a plastic baggie.
Okay.
Where did this come from?
What?
Yeah.
He had
I
more
don't
crack
even know. I mean,
cocaine?
I don't even know that was there, to be honest. Where it was behind my seat?
It's behind the passenger seat. I mean,
He got
So-
cocaine all over his
So I'm
goddamn
in the driver's
car.
seat.
What?
But I can't chat.
It was.
I had
So-
that much cocaine in
Here.
there.
Yeah,
It's behind you.
between the
So it
shield.
fell, or it could have been. How long could it have been there? It could have been there for a while.
yeah, I don't know how long.
Right, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I could have left that dope laying there at any time.
Family and Bill offered his
I'm
son
fucking,
custody of
Plastic bag
I'm
containing
fucking,
silver white rock
You know,
substance
taking
under
dope
the
off
passenger
the street
seat.
all the time,
That's
and I
where
just
that
throw it
was.
away.
Under the passenger seat.
Okay.
And in the trunk was a plastic bag with a $10 bill and a credit card.
I think that was a counterfeit bill, and that was maybe a credit card that it just found on the ground. Should have been dropped in evidence.
So and also, speaking of the evidence, in your mailbox was located driver's license
Yeah, that stuff all had to go back to the DHSMB. I just haven't placed it in evidence yet.
and the tag,
Correct. All 3.
but these was from 2018 cases.
Yeah, it was sitting in I had a bunch of stuff in my mailbox that I had to clean up.
Do you drop any evidence that?
I dropped plenty of it. Yes.
Yeah, I got plenty of evidence, bitch. What are you asking
So-
me for?
Do you drop evidence that is in a criminal case? It kind of seems like when it's not a criminal case or you have charges pending, that you don't really worry about
When I
dropping
take it
evidence.
as found property,
You know,
if
I drop it in
if
my
I drop it
nose.
in
I
evidence,
mean,
I drop it. If I don't,
in my fucking nose, ain't that the same as dropping it into evidence? If it's in my nose and I just tell you it was there because, you know, I'm all jacked up on fucking Mountain Dew and cocaine and hookers. And I'm a cop. And I got to get the bad guy by being the worst guy. Butthole.
I'll discard it. But those occasions are the only times that I haven't dropped it in the properties. It's those times, which is why they were found.
But don't you feel like evidence is a huge part of what we do and to protect the chain of custody and I mean, you got to testify for this stuff in court. So if I was a defense attorney and I got a hold of this, I'd say, Officer Contardi, do you have a habit of not worrying about evidence and
No,
leaving it
it's
in your car?
not a habit. It's not a habit. It's just, I do a lot of things. I respond to a lot of calls for service. I write a lot of reports. I don't always get around to dropping found property.
So it's just found property.
It's all found property.
Anarchic Sheik said, attention. Schiff now has moderator
Not,
powers.
not, not,
And you
not,
don't know where
not,
the
not.
crack was?
Nah, Kelly, you
where
better
got the
not.
bag under the
I'll get
couch?
it.
No.
I'll start my own.
I mean, that could have been something I got found property and it fell there and I forgot about it.
These were death cases that you worked that I guess you responded
Say
to.
that, I mean-
Those were my investigation.
Okay.
Those are my investigation, god dang it. My investigation. Fucking what I'll look at it here in a minute. The fucking bodybuilder cop, Cocoa, Florida. The Terminator. I'll let y'all go watch the rest of it on your own. But I mean, is it just me? Can y'all not hear the disdain? I mean, even for his supervisors and motherfuckers sitting there telling him, boy, you're fucking up, shut up. And this dude's just Roy
Anarchic Sheik said,
Bragan
okay, what's not funny
fucking
is
all
Wilma was not
kinds
showing
of
up for the
shit.
memes.
And fucking getting down on it now. Getting down on it. And I don't get it. Fucking, I don't get it. I got to find out if this cocksucker's still on the job, really. I mean, that fucking freak of nature needs to be off the street. I mean, I don't think it'd be safe for that cocksucker and his fucking ideas and shit and his self-righteous. I don't think he'd be safe walking the streets surrounded by armed guards fucking to keep him away from the public. There is something fucking inherently wrong with that cocksucker. It is, I don't know. That's fucking, that ain't no good. No, sirree, it ain't. Go for that shit. No. Can't go for that shit. That is unacceptable. I mean,
Anarchic Sheik said take
So,
121 times.
but anyway, fucking, I got some chips and dips waiting on me over here, over there, and over yonder. Y'all keep an eyeball out for a linkage. There'll probably be some discordant link pop up sometime here in the next few days. I'm working on building one, zip. Since it just takes me fucking I have to work on shit 47 times. So. And anyway, yeah, go check out the fucking steroid freak fucking rock petardo or what, Cocoa, Florida. And like I said, I need to get off here and fucking see if it try to do what I can do to find out if this cocksucker's still on the beat. I mean, can you imagine? It ain't my daughter. We're not pieces of shit. My daughter's got a daddy and a mama. That piece of slime don't have no goddamn parents. I mean, that ain't what he said with his words, but I mean, I could hear it fucking just fall out of this motherfucker's ass and mouth and attitude. I mean, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. But I ain't wrong. So, somebody needs to go live. I'm fucking bored and so I guess I gotta go fucking crunch up my bag of chips. I like them fucking crunched up in small little fucking dusty pieces. So apparently I got work to do, but yeah, and probably keep an eye out for a fucking some sort of follow-up on this goddamn piece of shit. I mean, wants to finger baiting guy's asshole up to the fucking shoulder blade because he thinks there's some weed in there. But yet, he don't ever turn none of the drugs into evidence. And they found a shit ton of cocaine in his fucking car. crack and powder both from the sounds of it. And this is a thin blue line that is so holy to some of you motherfuckers. I mean,
Anarchic
what
Chic said
in
Holy
the
Cowboy.
fuck is wrong with people? And Shell, you just fucking quieten up. You know, when I come up on your panel, I fucking slow shit down. But you know me. You don't like the song, get the fuck off the floor. Ha ha. Fuck them, fuck them, fuck them, fuck them all. In the fucking neck with some fucking rusty ass motherfucking fucking spoons that are fucking dull. That's what tyrannet ought to get. Tyrannet. Anyway, fucking, and the thing is, everybody go, oh, well, that's just one now. That's the oddball in the group. No, that's the leader of the fucking group. That is the leader of the group, and motherfuckers aspire to be that son of a bitch. The majority of them, but apparently he had this, done this shit to several people, in front of the guy that was there, and had been reprimanded for it. The other guy said, well, I didn't know that we couldn't do that. So you told me just now, when on record, from what I understood, that both of them knew it was an issue. He had been in trouble for it. And he's like, well, I thought I could, eventually work it up to where, I had your fucking ankles handcuffed to their fucking ears and just, fucking riding them like a goddamn push scooter down the fucking main street. And they're like, what are you doing? Stand back before I shoot you. I'm looking for marijuana in his booty hole. And if you get my way, I'll do it to you. Anyway. Somebody go live. I'm bored. I'm out. I appreciate everybody showing up. Hot shelves, jokes, Brandon. Yeah, I guess I could be fucking a decent human being and tell you the fucking name of that channel, huh? What was it? I don't know how to edit all this shit. Like I said, I'm fucking technologically retarded. Bodybuilder cop. Real world police. Bodybuilder cop. Anyway. Fucking. Much love, get fucked. Nah, kick them in the balls. And in reference to Chip, that would be about chin or the forehead. So, peace out. Peace out, get out, and fuck off. And this motherfucker, end it all.